you can select any object in Blender by selecting it in the outliner here. So say for instance, if we select the cube here, you'll see that this little yellow circle comes around this cube and indicates that this cube is selected. And then so likewise, say we animate this cube, like say I hit I to enter a keyframe, and I'm going to close that tab up because I don't like seeing all these other, I don't like seeing the related information to this keyframe. I just want to see the basic keyframe, so I always minimize that. Whatever you select within Blender, like I have it set up to where the left click selects objects and deselects objects. For some reason, and there's no way to get around this that I know of, in your timeline you're going to have to select it with the opposite button. So I have it set up to where everything selects with the left mouse click, but in the timeline you're going to have to drag it with the right mouse click for some reason. But anyway, I'll drag that over to 2 seconds. And then make sure my cube is selected, hit G to grab it, hold middle mouse button to constrain it to an axis, then let go once it's constrained, and then click to drop it, and I'm going to hit I, location, rotation, scale, and that puts in another keyframe. So if we press play right now, we can watch the little cube animating there. Any object I select on, I can then see all the related keyframes to that object. So I'll press Control and right mouse click over here and press Shift A and add a cylinder or something. So this cylinder is selected right here, and you can see there's no keyframes down in the dope sheet editor. And also you can see the cylinder is highlighted in the outliner. But if we click on Cube, we now see all the keyframes and information related to the cube. So why would you want your outliner way up here, where selecting is much more simple affair, selecting your object with your outliner right down here. So that just made a lot more sense to me as well. One more change that I made is on the outliner itself, you can see I have it set to visible layers, and by default I think it's to like all scenes or everything or whatever. And once you get a bunch of different items going on in your various layers, you're going to see that that will make you hate your life. So it's great to be able to have this hierarchy of where we can select relative things we need to work on next to the dope sheet editor, have our timeline up here, then we have our UV image editor. If you press Alt-Control-0, that will pop you directly into Blender's camera. And if you're using Blender Sensei format, I also have that by default set up too. If I hit T, which brings up my property shelf as well as my tools, and I go under View, it has Lock Camera, pull that over, Lock Camera to View selected. And if I hit T to close those windows again, what that means is with that selected and you're in camera mode, when you move around, it moves the camera as well. So you don't have to, then you don't have to remember a bunch of other controls for the camera, which it's that way by default in a lot of 3D programs, and I hate that. It's like I don't want to remember like 30 other different controls to animate and move a camera. I just want to be able to move around how I normally move around in Blender, which is scrolling back and forth to zoom in and out, shift and holding down the middle mouse to pan, and then just middle mouse to rotate. So I'll just get up on these guys and I'll hit F12 to render. And if I bring my mouse over here down into my UV image editor where the default render pops up and I scroll out, you can see a very, very blown out white background and these two objects. If you hit your tilde key, that's a little squiggly key under the escape key. Wherever you have your mouse in whatever window, it will then maximize that window, and then of course you can zoom in and out with the mouse button. So you hit tilde key to make it go big and tilde key for it to go down. Likewise, say like things were getting crazy in the outline or whatever, you can, any window you want to maximize in Blender, you just put your mouse over it and hit tilde key. And then so if I want to pop out of from my camera view, I'll hit 1, go back into front, or 2 for back, 3 for right, 4 for left, 5 for top, 6 for bottom, and so on. So that gets us back out of there. I thank you so much if you have managed to get this far in the series, and really want to encourage you to keep up with Blender because it's a really amazing program, really worth learning.